Hello, ladies and gentlemen. They say honesty is the best policy, and I'm going to be honest with you guys. I have a distinct fear of animatronic robots. I really do. It's mostly because of Batman. Batman the Animated Series had a crazy episode, but let's get real here. This game, I could beat the first game at least. I can beat the second game a bit easier. I can beat the third game no problem. This game, I can't do it. I'm not going to lie, I wussed out about halfway through. Yes, I'm borrowing footage. And the links are down in the description below on all the places that I've borrowed footage from. I do apologize for this, guys. I know how the game plays, if that's any indication. I know the storyline, I know the characters pretty well. I just can't actually do it myself. I got about halfway through and had a tension headache from the game because it freaks me out that badly. So, yeah, I'm just going to talk about the game as best I can. And I won't give a score this time around, even though the game deserves one, because, well, yeah, I haven't beaten it. So this is more of a discussion than a review, but, you know, Sauron takes on whomever. Just kidding, I know exactly who I'm taking on. It's Golden Freddy. Now, you're probably wondering why it says Sauron takes on Golden Freddy. Well, the reason being is because, guess what? This is the origin story for Golden Freddy. Plus, this guy looks a lot like Golden Freddy, and I think that's a fair comparison. So without further ado, let's take on Golden Freddy. So it looks like there are two plots going through Five Nights at Freddy's 4. One is the cutscenes that you get after every night, and two is the actual nights themselves. Are they connected? I believe so in a way, but I don't think they're necessarily connected to the narrative. Let's just get into this real quick here. First off, you have the Crying Child, who becomes Golden Freddy. The Crying Child is obviously tortured throughout the week by his older brother, up until his birthday party, which he is tragically killed when his older brother stuffs him in his spring-locked suit, and the child's tears cause it to lock up and snap down on his head. Unfortunately, that probably kills the child. But what about everything that's happening in the nightmare area? Well, unfortunately, this isn't the same house. And that's what's interesting about this, is that this whole area is a bit different. In fact, canonly, in Sister Location, it does show up. So it's not just nightmares that somebody's having. Somebody's being tortured in this place. Who or what remains to be seen, but I have an interesting idea that it would be Michael Afton, the older brother. Oh yes, I think Father William Afton was so PO'd that his younger son died due to the actions of his older son that he left him to be tortured, very similarly to a crying child. I could be wrong about this, of course, but that's what I suspect is happening. Although they could be memories at the same time of the crying child being tortured, or perhaps the older brother being tortured as well. Why would William Afton be torturing his own children, though? I don't know. But it's interesting to think about, for sure. So, with that being out of the way, very simple plot, of course, let's move on to the characters real quick. So the regular characters and cast show up in their nightmare versions. You have Foxy, who likes to stick his head out the closet. You have Freddy, who likes to show up behind you if it's dark enough. And then you have Bonnie and Chica, who come through the left and the right doors, respectively. You also have Nightmare, well, not Nightmare, but Plush Springtrap. Now that's a weird one right there. He basically sits across a hall and then comes after you very slowly, very sneakily, very much like, well, Springtrap. And if you catch him at the right time, you can get a couple hours off of your night. Not that that ever helped me any, but, you know, that's beside the point. He's small, but he's still incredibly terrifying. Then there's Nightmare Balloon... Wait, he's part of the Halloween... Oh, Scott made him canon. Okay, well, yeah, Nightmare Balloon Boy. I guess he's canon somehow, too. Well, if this is Michael Afton, maybe that's why Michael didn't take back his flashlight batteries in Five Nights at Freddy's 2. Again, I suspect that it was Michael Afton who is playing the role of Jeremy Fitzgerald, but that's beside the point. All these characters are perfectly fine. They act like their regular counterparts, I suppose. Well enough, anyway. And then you have the crying child and his brother. They're characters to really get through the plot. And that's about it, really. That's about it. So, let's get into the gameplay, shall we? So in this game, you have 4 areas that you can look. Behind you, in the closet, or to the 2 side doors. Basically, the gameplay is as follows. When you go to the side doors, you need to listen for breathing. It is completely dark right next to the door. If you don't hear breathing, you can flick on your flashlight and possibly even stop an animatronic attack. If you do hear breathing, you need to close the door until they walk away. This is what terrified me the most. I'm not gonna lie, I'm kind of a wuss when it comes to these kinds of things. So, yeah, didn't sit well with me. Works fine, actually, if you can actually hear the breathing. It's a bit quiet, and if you have background noise, yeah, good luck with that. But, yeah, if you can hear the breathing, it works perfectly well. Then you gotta look behind you every now and again to get these miniature Nightmare Freddys called Freddles away from you. Just shine your light and they'll run away. And then you have the closet. You have to go close the door a couple of times on Foxy to keep him from getting a little too close to exiting the closet and killing you. Which he will if you don't pay enough attention. Then you have the 2 animatronics that I haven't mentioned yet. Fredbear, or Nightmare Golden Freddy, if you will, and Nightmare. Which honestly looks just like Lefty from the 6th game, so I'm just assuming there's some connection with the puppet. There's even more of a connection with the puppet if you play the Halloween edition, but I'll talk about that in a second. So, to deal with Fredbear and Nightmare, basically you have to listen for them walking through the halls. You can hear them going back and forth, and you can hear it when they come down the hallway. You have to quickly go up and find them, which hallway they're at, and close the door to keep them from entering the room. Sometimes they'll show up behind you, which you gotta flick your flashlight to get rid of them, or show up in your closet, which you have to hold closed until they leave. Basically, the whole thing is a sound-based test, and it works perfectly well, but sometimes they will trick you into making the wrong moves. But other than that, yeah, when you get to the cutscenes, you can play as the crying child, which it's just a typical WASD format where you just kind of move them around until you find what you need. And that's it. Oh, and in Fun with Plush Trap, or Fun with Nightmare Balloon Boy, you basically just sit there and flick on and off your flashlight until he's either on the X or killing you. He'll duck into rooms to the side. To do the flashlights, you basically have to hit Control. To close doors, you basically hit Shift. Don't get them mixed up, because if you close a door on accident with no breathing, guess who's going to be right behind that door? The animatronic that you were worried about a second ago. Oh yeah, you don't want to play wrong on this one. It will punish you. Believe me, I have first-hand experience on the matter. So, let's talk about the level design, Here's the room. That's it. You don't get to see any part of the house unless you use cheats, which... Oh, okay, you can kind of see that there's a kitchen somewhere. That's about it. Basically, everything's like... You're just waiting for the animatronics to come through the house towards you because everything ends at your room. And there's not much house to begin with after the fact either. They just kind of wander around. So, what about difficulty? Yes, the game gets more difficult as the nights progress. The animatronics get a bit more aggressive. Foxy and Freddy are definitely quicker on the draw there. And, yeah, night 5 you deal with Fredbear, who admittedly is sometimes considered to be easier than the rest of the animatronics because you're only dealing with one animatronic, although he's highly aggressive and fast, but you're only dealing with one animatronic. Obviously, night 6, you have all the Nightmare animatronics, and then it switches to Fredbear, and then, you know, the last night you deal with Nightmare, who is a lot quicker than Fredbear. You got to be quick on the draw to stop him. But, yeah, there's definitely a challenge curve, and that's about it. The room looks nice. That's all you get, really, is just the room and the stuff that you can kind of explore, but not much, in the cutscenes. Yeah. Let's talk about secrets and side quests, shall we? So, if you beat enough nights, you get some cheats. There's also a cameo from Purple Guy. You have to unlock Nightmare mode. That's pretty much all I got. There's really not much here, so let me take a second to talk about the DLC. It's free DLC. It's basically a Halloween edition, where it reskins Bonnie and Chica to be Jacko Bonnie and Jacko Chica, where they're jack-o'-lantern type creatures. Freddy pretty much stays the same, so does Fredbear. And Mangle is now replacing Foxy, so you get a Nightmare Mangle. You also have a Nightmare Balloon Boy, as I previously mentioned, and Nightmare turns into the Nightmare Marionette, or Nightmare Puppet. That's about it. Since it's free DLC, I can just kind of include it here, but yeah, everything else is Halloween edition, so it just kind of looks Halloweenish here and there. So let's just wrap this up, shall we? You guys might think I'm kind of skimming over everything because I didn't actually beat the game, and the answer is a bit yes and no. Unfortunately, you're right. I didn't beat the game. I know. I wussed out. That's fine. Well, actually, I ended up getting a tension headache from all the stress that I was getting through the game, so I quit due to my health, but that's beside the point. Wussed out, health, whatever. I'm not skimming as much as you guys might think, though. And the reason being is because, let's face facts, this plot doesn't really add much. It adds a few key details in, that Golden Freddy was murdered by none other than his brother rather than Purple Guy, but that's it on plot. Characterization, you don't really get to know these characters much, except the older brother's kind of a douche. There's this weird toy that seems possessed. A lot of people suspect that it's the puppet that's doing that. I'm not sure. It's hard to say what the thing is, but that's beside the point. There's not much here in the way of plot and characters. Gameplay is great. It's terrifying, believe me, I know. And the level design is... I mean, it works, it's functioning, it's pretty good. There's not much there, again, you know, there's not like a huge level of detail, but it's simple. And it functions perfectly fine with the game. And in fact, maybe even enhances it. And then you got the secrets, which you unlock by just naturally progressing through the game. There's a few Easter eggs here and there, but for the most part, that's it. That's it. This game is incredibly simple, but you know what? It works effectively well. If I had to give it a score, I'd probably rate it about as high as the first two games, like a 9 or a 10 or something like that. But I'm not fully giving it a score because I fully haven't beaten the game yet. So, yeah. I do apologize, guys. I really wanted to beat this one. I really wanted to conquer my fears, but unfortunately, my health kind of became a concern, and I decided to stop from there. So let's just kind of take a little bit of a break. Next time you guys see me, I'm going to be doing a review on FNAF World. Yeah, you know, that one game that reviewers just don't even seem to know exists. I'm going to try it out. I'm going to take a look at it. And I'm going to give you guys a review on it. This game I actually can beat. In fact, I already beaten it once before. So don't worry, I'm not going to be skimming over things this time around. And when it comes to treasures, since I didn't beat the game, I didn't collect anything. Oh, crap. Anyway, we'll see about FNAF World. We'll see what I can do there. In the meantime, take care, guys, and I'll see you in the next video. Goodbye, my minions.